Hi Anti-Society, welcome back to the Anti-Social Planet. Today we're checking out Eclipse by Dreamcatcher. So this was a song that was recommended to me in the comments of one of my Bleach OST reactions, and it's apparently the opener, one of the openers for the anime King's Raid. I have not seen that anime, I don't know anything about it, have not heard this song, but I have heard a couple of songs by Dreamcatcher. Just when I have my music on in the background while I'm working on things, it's come up because I listen to other South Korean artists, so random songs like that get thrown in every once in a while. Deja Vu is the one that I'm thinking of the clearest because I actually saw the music video for that song, but I enjoyed it too much, so I decided to back away for a little bit because I am an all or nothing kind of person. I either only know the top like 3 songs from an artist, or I know absolutely every detail about their discography, so I could feel myself getting into that obsessive part of myself when I listened to Deja Vu and watched the music video, and I was like, I don't have the time to get sucked down that rabbit hole, but this song was recommended to me in the comments, so I jumped at the chance to be able to explore some more of Dreamcatcher and who they are, so I have a little bit of an idea of what their sound is like. I know they're very rock inspired, almost like orchestral. There feels like this huge scope to their music. I feel like it should be like in cathedrals or something. So I do know a little bit about what I'm about to walk into with this song, but I don't know anything about the group or the members or anything like that, so feel free to comment down below all of the things that I should know about this, because I am going to probably fall down this rabbit hole. It's only a matter of whether or not I will be gently guided through it, or if I will stumble my way through as I usually do with these. So feel free, if you are part of the Dreamcatcher fan group. What is their name? I'm sure that they have a name. Let me know that as well down in the comments what the name of fans of Dreamcatcher are called. So I'm going to be reacting to this particular song, Eclipse, because it is anime related and it was recommended to me. So I'm very excited to get into this because it's one of the songs that I've done for the channel that I actually don't have any context for, unlike the Bleach music where I have heard some of it before and have seen the show. So I don't know what I'm getting into with this fully, but I'm sure I will talk a lot and think too hard about what's going on. For the video that they have on their actual YouTube channel, there aren't captions, so I'm not gonna know what they're talking about, considering that my Korean is extremely limited, to say the least. So I apologize. I would look up some lyrics, but they're not always the best, especially like lyric videos tend to not be translated super well, so I don't want to watch one of those and kind of take that translation. So if you know a really good, reliable translation to this song, please let me know. I would love to get some translations so that I can fully understand the story and stuff like that. But let's get into the actual music video. Okay, Dreamcatcher, let's see what you've got. Ooh. That's haunting. I like the guitar with the really light vocals. Ooh, okay. I'm gonna be pausing a lot because I have things to say, but I really like at that point where the piano, a lot of the time you'll have the piano playing a certain melody. It usually is in the same key or it's in like a harmonic for it, so it's harmonizing, it's like filling in the bass, and then you might have some of the higher notes kind of blending in around the actual vocals, and the vocals will be part of like their own melody, whereas in that part the piano keys and the vocals were lining up, and it did a really good job of creating this effect of adding weight to the vocals. So the vocals, like I said at the beginning, are really light and they're riding a lot higher on top of the mixing. You have kind of this big, epic sweep with the music of like the guitars and all of that, all of the instrumentation before that. It's a nice contrast. We also have female voices, so they tend to be in a higher range. You can get a lot of lighter sound from them because females in general tend to have smaller voice boxes, so they have shorter vocal cords, which means that they can hit higher notes. Not always. I have a slightly deeper voice, and I know this because my range is slightly outside of kind of the average female vocal range and I can't hit the few higher notes in like a true soprano, so my voice is like slightly on the deeper end. But female voices in general tend to be on the higher end. We seem to have some gorgeous lighter high vocals, so having that piano that plays along with it fills in the back of the vocals and makes them have a little bit more oomph to them, because you can kind of lose that a little bit with kind of the breathy feeling, and you can really lean into a breathier vocal and have a good kind of eerie effect with it. The example that I can think of is if you know the opener for Tokyo Ghoul. We start with those very light, eerie, breathy vocals at the beginning of that song, but this song is kind of leaning more into having a little bit more of an impact but a almost like somber feeling. So having those vocals have like a little bit more to them with that piano backing them up, I think creates a really nice effect. See the piano playing the vocal melody? Usually only have that with when it's just piano. Ooh. Some beautiful harmonies happening there, if I can go back and listen to them again. Those really light, breathy vocals just in the back of that. Beautiful. Ooh. Sorry that we have those layered vocals. Really cool. They blend super well with each other, which, I mean, I don't know how long they've been a group, how long they've been working together, but they blend their voices really nicely. I'm a little bit sad that in this particular video I can't see them mouthing, so I can't like put faces to voices, which makes me a little bit sad. But blending super well with those really breathy harmonies, they're just barely coming through on that first part, and then now we have the double layers of vocals, people kind of singing together with those drums coming in that are a little bit chaotic. I don't fully know what the song is about because I don't have captions, but having those like very organized layered vocals where you have two vocals that are singing the same melody over top of each other, that takes a lot of precision to get right, especially live where you have to line everything up, because if you even do slightly different things, it can be even just like adding vibrato and the other person not adding vibrato can throw things off if you're really trying to sync those voices up. And then having those more chaotic drums in the backing, I think is a really nice contrast of like, you know, the organized and the chaotic, and adding to some of the storytelling of the actual song. I'm gonna go back. Beautiful. I like the guitar on the left side too. And now we have the other guitar on the right. Ooh, a good little guitar moment before we launch into, I'm assuming, the chorus. I love a little guitar detail. I like the twin guitars too. Yeah, those two guitars with the slide down the fretboard, I'm assuming. Yeah, because we got higher. Trying to remember how to play guitar. Again, that syncing of like two guitars together. We have two voices together, two guitars together. I really like the layering of instruments that are happening here where they sync and then sometimes they deviate, and it creates a beautiful kind of like web of sounds together. I don't know how many there are in this group either. Tell me how many members there are, how many people need to be singing, because that can definitely complicate some of the organization of line distribution and stuff like that. Ooh. Yes. I love rock music so much. Ooh, beautiful how we had kind of that lower vocal and then that flip up into head voice. It's not quite falsetto, but that like quick shift in pitch. Takes a lot of practice to do that without breaking your voice, and break is in terms of like you get weird strain, and also you have to hit that note precisely, and if you don't hit it, it's really easy to go sharp or flat with that note, to slightly miss the note that you're trying to hit. When you jump like that, a lot of the time you'll have singers slide into it, or they'll use an N or an M sound. And that's because when you're making an M or an N sound, your mouth is closed. You're resonating through your nose instead. So you're kind of humming, and you can kind of hum your way into that note. So sometimes people will use M's or N's to jump off from a lower note when they have to hit a higher note really quickly. So in that one, I'm not sure what letter or sound they were using for that one, but beautifully done. And it's a nice little deviation from the melody up to that point. Grabbed my attention, which is a good thing to do. See that? See, I think it was an N sound, and they used that to jump up into that note. That's a trick that lots of vocalists use. If you can find an M or an N to be able to jump off of, sometimes singers will even add it in. You'll see that a lot with Broadway singers. If you're singing on Broadway, there's lots of vocal agility that happens with those songs, and you'll sometimes hear them put in a little N or an M sound before a letter, especially vowels, so that they can jump up to those higher notes. They kind of hum their way to finding their note, because you can't mess up live. Or if you do, it's really hard to come back, recover from hitting a note either sharp or flat, because sometimes you're singing flat because you didn't hit that one note the way that you're supposed to. Yeah. Ooh, some more. That head voice there too. Ooh, before really kind of stepping down into that lower range. Beautiful warm tone to whoever was singing too. Like really strong in that chest, kind of singing from the diaphragm. Because sometimes people are kind of too breathy on the lower range. When you get to the lower end of somebody's range, a lot of the time they'll just add in a lot of air to kind of hit that, or vocal fry. So you actually have two sets of vocal cords. You have like your actual vocal cords, and then you have false vocal cords. They're not really vocal cords, but they're like muscle that's above your vocal cords that you can also vibrate. And that's how you get kind of grit sound, any kind of rasp and stuff like that. People sing from their false vocal cords. And if you get anyone doing vocal fry, I know I've just been speaking using vocal fry for once in a while. It's a very common thing. You can get like Kardashians are kind of like the exaggerated version of using vocal fry, but it's basically just using those to get that sound. I know sometimes when I want to hit a lower note, I incorporate my false vocal folds to make that happen. So it's kind of a sound. It's an ugly sound, but when you're singing, it can really help you hit those lower notes. So people will either incorporate that or a lot of breath to hit lower notes, especially female voices, because lower range notes, even like mid-range notes, can sometimes be hard depending on how high the voice is. And that was like a really warm, clear tone. We weren't getting breathiness, we weren't getting those false vocal folds involved. So great to see that they have that lower part of the range. As a group, I'm not really sure if this was someone who was also hitting those higher head voice ones. Again, I can't see their faces, so I'm not entirely sure. I don't know their voices well enough yet, but great to see that they have that dexterity as a group. It's really great when you have lots of people that you can get tons of vocal texture, because you have so many different voices, potential to have so many different voices, and the trick is blending them together. So they're doing a really good job so far. Mostly just rocking out at this point. It was good. Wait, so there's 7 of them? Yes? That's, I mean, not uncommon for South Korean groups in general, but it's still hard to make that work. As someone who has sang with a group of people, it's difficult. 3 is really easy to pull off because you just do harmonies. Harmonies work in 3s, piano chords work in 3s, chords in general, you do them in 3s. So having 3 voices work together is really quite easy. It's like the easiest that you can get. The moment you start exceeding 3 is when it starts to get difficult. Ooh. I love how fast we pulled away from that chorus, that big full sound of all the instruments, and then boom, we're back to this quieter moment. I love that. We kind of get the instrumentation after the vocals. Boom. I love that. We're back to the piano. And a little bit of percussion. Ooh, beautiful vocal run. Ugh, I don't know about you guys. You guys get shivers when you hear music. You hear certain sounds that just hit just right. I do. I get it all the time. I get chills through my whole body. That's what that vocal run just did. You know I'm enjoying something if I actually get chills from it. Oof, I love it. I really like this part. Ooh, you can hear a bit of a lower range too in the vocals. This anime looks interesting too. I love fantasy, so I'm like distracted by some of the visuals too. So love that. I'm also like dancing along, so that has to say something about how good it is. See, I want to see that. I want to see who's doing what. Who's doing the main vocal, who's doing the harmonies. A little bit sad that this music video is more focused on the anime stuff, but it's okay. Please let me know all of the things about who is singing what. Who sang that vocal run? Let me know that, because she might be my favorite so far. Ooh, I like that lower tone. Ooh. Ooh, hang on. Do they have a rapper too? Who is she? I would like details. Just to fill you in, rappers in South Korean and Japanese pop music, usually my favorite in the group. I don't know why. I don't listen to a lot of rap music. I don't know a lot about rap. It's just something about him. It's like in rock bands, always the drummer becomes my favorite. It's the drummer or the bassist. And if you give me a band that is just a drummer and just a bassist, I don't know what to think, because I'm like all of the above, obviously. That's how I'm like with Royal Blood. I'm like, I don't know who to choose. But if they actually have a rapper in this group, she doesn't seem to be doing a whole lot in this song, but give me some details, please, because I would just like to get ahead of her probably being my favorite. I just know myself at this point. Ooh, beautiful light tone. After that loudness again. Ooh, beautiful with that one too. She started off with the vocal very light. I think we switched voices, but I'm not sure. Starting off with this very light tone and then transitioning down into a chest voice of a fuller sound, more push behind it to kind of elevate into that musicality coming back. So all of the other instrumentation and stuff coming back as we're probably getting into the last chorus. Just some good arrangement there with the vocals. Beautiful. See, I think that's a different voice. Her. Beautiful. Ooh, that little pause. Good too. Gosh, all of their voices are beautiful. Yeah, okay, King's Raid. Wow. I feel like this is why I was like, I'm not ready to go down the rabbit hole. I'm sure I just smiled uncontrollably for all of that, because you heard it. I don't have to explain it to you. So I think I got a tad distracted by the vocals in that one. I don't think you can blame me for that. They were all beautiful and there was some wonderful vocal agility. I think one of the reasons that I got distracted by the vocals in that one is that they have very clean vocals. I talked about this a little bit during the actual reaction. Clean vocals, so it's a little bit different from normal rock vocals where you have a lot of grit. A lot of the time there are augmented vowels and stuff like that. So when you change a vowel sound to fit the type of music, so you'll get a lot of false vocal cords being used. They also tend to be more forward facing. There's a lot of like aggression behind those vocals a lot of the time. It's supposed to be kind of loud. Rock music is a bit loud except for some of the more quieter songs, whereas with their vocals they were far more placed in like a very even place. They were very smooth. We weren't getting a lot of that manipulation in terms of getting grit. There weren't like cries, yodel techniques or anything like that being pulled into it. It was a very, I compared it to like Broadway. It was almost like a musical kind of thing, like someone who has more classical training to their voice. It makes me think a little bit of Amy Lee's voice from Evanescence, if I can pull another female singer in rock music. Her voice is a similar thing where it's very, she has that very light tone and then she goes more into her chest voice, but it's very clean. She doesn't put a lot of the different textures that you usually get with rock music. So having that contrast of the cleaner vocals with some of the more intense instrumentation that's going on is always really interesting to me. And we had a lot of contrast in general happening in that song, with voices that were being layered on top of each other, but then more chaotic instrumentation. We even had the guitars playing two different things in two different sides of the mixing and then coming together at certain points, having the piano matching the vocal melody and then deviating. So we had lots of moments where we were syncing up and then going our separate ways with the musicality. So there was a lot of interest to the different things that were happening in that song, and I talked a lot anyway, so I'm sure that if I listened through this again I would pull more and more out of it. I'm sad that I didn't have the lyrics there, so again, if you know a good place for me to get the lyrics, please let me know so I can check those out. Also, I'd love to like see their faces while they're performing, because I couldn't really match voices to specific people and stuff like that, but really fun time going through some of Dreamcatcher. So let me know down in the comments anything that you think I should know about the group or suggestions for other music you want me to check out, whether that is Dreamcatcher or other artists. I love all different kinds of music. I just get super excited about it, so I'm definitely open to venturing more into some of that if you would like, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!